and good evening to everyone watching this video. Welcome to Success Board. My name is Manav Ganapati and I'm a first year student at Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. As a part of Success Board's program, today I'm going to share with you some tips regarding the relevance of legal knowledge in law entrance exams. To give you guys a fair background of what exams I've taken in the past year, let me start off by telling you that I had taken the CLAT exam and had secured a rank of 69. I had taken the ALET exam which gave me admission into NLUD with a rank of 32. I had secured admission into Symbiosis Law Schools, Pune, Noida and Hyderabad. And I had secured admission into Jindal Global Law School and Bennett University through the LSAT examination. These exams, especially the first three exams that I mentioned, have ample of legal relevance. They have in the exam like CLAT, there is no legal knowledge per se, but they can ask you in the GK section. But in ALET and SLAT, they can ask you in the legal reasoning section itself, wherein there are set number of questions that are set aside for these legal knowledge relevant questions. Legal knowledge as a subject can be split into many parts, and questions can be asked on these very different topics. One is acts, amendments, and any policy changes that have come into place. Let's take the last year for example. There was the UAP amendment, there was the National Investigation Agency amendment, there was also the MTP amendment bill, and even the surrogacy bill that was introduced. These bills have extreme constitutional significance and thereby very much of a legal significance in daily life. And these can be the provisions of these acts and ordinances can be a short question in exams like ALET and even exams like CLAT. Let's take CLAT also. Because these provisions are available very easily on various websites and they can be easily asked as a direct question. You will just be made to identify provisions that are true or provisions which are false among the options. So how are you supposed to do the research for these type of questions? I would suggest that you have to stick to a certain number of legitimate websites which give you the most valid information and the most extensive information too. For example, I had used the PRS legislative website, I had used the Wire, the Hindu, the Indian Express, and I had used Drishti IAS website and various other UPSC preparation websites too. What these websites do is they not only lay down the provisions and the changes that are being brought in through the amendments, they also give you the history regarding the very act, they give you the context regarding the very situation. Let's take the surrogacy for example. Surrogacy bill, they'll not only give you the provisions that are being changed, they'll also give you context regarding the history of surrogacy in India, the various acts that were passed in the past, and the very situation of surrogacy in India, which really helps you to develop an wholesome understanding regarding the issue. So any question that is thrown at you in the paper, you will be easily able to tackle it. Let's move on to the next topic, judicial appointments. Judicial appointments are I think they are the most easiest questions to answer because they'll be very much in the news and there is no way you miss out on it because departments like Lokpal, the NALSA, they're very much in the news. So whenever you are browsing through the news, make sure that you try to note down the various new appointments that are taking place. And judicial appointments can also be to the ICJ or to various other international criminal court, and appointments to them, the presidents of those organizations can be very well asked, and these can be short scoring questions because everyone is trying to go and capitalize on these questions so that they get a set amount of marks at least, even though the other questions may be hard. In an exam like ALET, they'll really try to test your knowledge regarding these intricate details, and it's very important for you to know them. Let's move on to the next aspect, judgments. Judgments can be split into two parts. Judgments can be split into the national judgments and the international judgments. Let's talk about the latter first. International judgments. Let's take for example Singapore's criminalization of homosexuality, or let's say the Enrica Lexi judgment regarding maritime arbitration between Italy and India. These events hold extremely high legal significance. Exams like ALET and SLAT will really try and test your knowledge not only regarding national legal systems but also regarding international legal systems. These will really want you to understand the legal situation not only in your own country but across the world. They will really try to make you understand the various events that are going on, especially considering arbitration or say gender issues or say citizenship or privacy issues. These can be really thoughtful, and they can be really thought-provoking judgments. They can really make you question different things. So they really want to test you on those very significant events. They can simply ask you which court had recently criminalized homosexuality. To very well answer Singapore will be a short answer. Sure, there'll be different ones, but among the options, they'll definitely include the most obvious options too. So these questions can be easily capitalized on if you're able to follow websites. So how do you follow international legal developments? I'd suggest LiveLaw. LiveLaw websites has a separate section for international reviews. So whenever any significant international development regarding any policy, regarding any judgment, regarding any law happens, they're updated in there. So if you get a subscription of LiveLaw, please make sure that you at least on a weekly basis try to note down the significant international developments so that you stay abreast of the issues. Moving on, let's move on to the next topic. That is the interplay between the legal knowledge section and the general knowledge section. Because in an exam like CLAT, like I said before, there is no specially set out. But when they're asking you from a general knowledge perspective, they can literally ask you anything regarding that bill. Let's say a UAP amendment. The UAP amendment can include a lot of provisions, can include who is the head of a committee that is going to determine who is a terrorist, or those type of committees. The heads of those committees can be very well asked, and some history regarding detention laws, the constitutional provisions regarding detention laws, and they can be very well asked, and any constitutional amendments that are related to detention laws. So very big broader context and a wholesome understanding is required to get a very good score in these legal aspects. So I'd say we all see that there are a lot of ordinances, a lot of functions that the president and the governor exercised over the last year. Let's say the farm bills, or say the prime accused in the Nirbhaya case requesting for a presidential pardon. These ones really set out questions of exercising of powers by the president and the governor under various constitutional provisions. Let's take for example the ordinances, the farm bills ordinance which was passed by the president. They can really ask you questions in ALET and in CLAT or whatever other law entrance exams regarding the power of a president to make an ordinance, the validity of it, the duration, the enforcement of it. They can really ask you very basic legal knowledge questions, and these events will be significantly covered in various news websites. Whenever any significant power like this is exercised, these are very well covered in news events, and when you're able to note down these events and stay abreast of the different provisions that are there and the different limits that are there on these powers, it will really help you answer these questions, which are statement based usually. They'll give you four statements regarding the powers of a president to make an ordinance, and you will be asked to identify the wrong ones or the right ones in a combination of options. If you have really read well on these topics through the various websites that I stated before, it becomes really easy for you to eliminate options and get a short answer right away. So these are very static knowledge related questions. An exam like ALET and SLAT are very much interested to ask you this. They not only want you to know what is currently happening, they want you to know what is the legal backing behind this, what is the historical significance of this. So I'd say, especially constitutional powers of a president and a governor are to be remembered very well. At the tip of your fingers, they're supposed to be there. Because you should be able to identify these powers, because even though they would not have any contemporary legal significance, they have an evergreen significance in real life. So these powers can be asked you at any point of time. It will be very easy for you if you research on these topics. It will be very easy for you to identify the options and eliminate them, and thereby getting a very good score in the legal knowledge section. So I'd say these very events that you're covering and these very events that you're reading about, they make you think about the administrative functions and the various policies that the government is rolling out and the various motivations regarding these policies. What does it make you do? For a law student, critical thinking is very important. What it makes you do is when you read so much regarding the various events, when you try to find out, dig deeper regarding each and every event, what it makes you do is think more regarding why is this happening, or what is happening, because that is more important for you. Because the more you think, the more information you're going to find out, and the more amount of critical thinking that you're going to do. And for a lawyer, and especially in this stage itself, when you're developing a thinking like that, it will be extremely helpful for you when you come to law school, where you're exposed to a wide amount of laws, policies, and various amount of provisions. So when you're able to analyze and sort through these provisions itself in an exam like CLAT, it gives you a really bigger edge when you secure admission into the various law universities. So I really hope the tips that I've given to you today really help you to boost your preparation in the legal knowledge section and help you maximize your score in these sections, and so as to give you admission into the top tier universities of India. And I hope to meet you in the successive videos from Success Board. Thank you and bye.